Souls Unitarian Universalist Church, building community, inspiring growth, creating change. Here in the heart of Kansas City, we come together to create this hour of shared reflection so that we might be renewed in courage for these times and inspired to lives of greater dignity, higher purpose, deeper generosity, and more effective action. If you are new to Unitarian Universalism or to our congregation, we want to get to know you and share a part of your journey. If this place is already your spiritual home, welcome once more. We need one another, and it is good to be together again. Through the gifts of technology, we also gather virtually to celebrate community and connections as we lean into the values of justice, compassion, and reason. Welcome to all those who are joining us in this way today. Together, we learn the love that has the power to overcome both loneliness in the heart and oppression in the world. Welcome to our service this morning. May the words and music and images that we offer today nourish our best selves, calling forth abundant wisdom and love.
Arise, O souls, arise.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? What a beautiful, beautiful, sunny winter morning we have here in Kansas City. I'm Scott Hensey. I'm a member of All Souls, and we're glad that you are here or joining us online from the comfort of your home. Thank you. Some of you may be new here. Welcome. We're glad you're here. We want you to feel comfortable and able to ask questions and get to know us. Would any members of All Souls who would love for a newcomer to talk to them, please raise your hand? Thank you. Take note of who's raising their hand if you're new here today. And you should approach any of these people. They will be happy to get to know you. Your presence, each of you, enriches us all in our time together. Bring your whole self, your truth of happiness and sadness and fear, your hopes, your worries, your curiosity, and the tenderness of your heart. Who you are right now is just who you need to be.
I am the Reverend Erin Dajka Holley. I serve as the acting lead minister here at All Souls. And we are so excited this morning because we're going to make the playground better. Specifically, we're going to make it safer because it needs to be safer. And it's going to look a little different because we're going to do some serious work to do something very boring, which is replacing mulch. Because mulch is like the most interesting thing ever, but it's going to be rubber mulch, and it's going to be deep enough to actually prevent injuries. Oh yeah. But we need your help to do it. We need to raise $14,000, and I would love to raise that money this morning. Let us all get excited about supporting our children and ourselves, because sometimes grown-ups like to play on equipment too.
So I'm hoping that you will take advantage on your order of service. There's a QR code and a text to give number, and let's be generous to do this. And Melanie's going to talk about it more in a little bit. Instead of opening words, I need to do something with you. Let's get silly. All right, everybody stand up. As you are willing and able. If you are not able, get silly in your chair. And shake it out. And if you are willing and able, jump up and down. Turn around. And put your arms up like this. And bring them down. Stretch, 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 stretch. Oh yeah, that feels good. All right, we're here. You may be seated. Let this dancing light be our guide. Let us lure us into letting go the worries, of the stiffness that sets in after all the striving, of the myth that productivity alone gives us purpose. This garden of life we've been given is a playground. The weeding can wait.
Please join as you are able in the covenant. Together we affirm, well is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose snows in the winter time.
So this morning, we're talking about play. And I would like to invite those who are young and young at heart. I know there aren't a lot of you, but I'm going to invite you forward anyway. Come down here so that we can talk about play. Good morning. Good morning, Nora. Nora or Nova? Nova. What have you got, Jude? Do you want me to read this book? Are you sure that you want me to read a book with no pictures? Okay. Jude says I have to read this book. It is called The Book with No Pictures, and it is by B.J. Novak. This is a book with no pictures. It might seem like no fun to have someone read you a book with no pictures. It probably seems boring and serious. Except, here's how books work. Everything the words say, the person reading the book has to say. I feel like I'm getting into something. No matter what. That's the deal. That's the rule. So that means even if the words say, blork. Wait, what? That doesn't even mean anything. Blurf. Wait a second, what? This isn't the kind of book I wanted to read. And I have to say every single word the book says. Uh-oh. I am a monkey who taught myself to read. Hey, I'm not a monkey. And now I am reading you this book with my monkey mouth and my monkey voice. It's not true. I'm not a monkey. Yes, I am a monkey. Also, I am a robot monkey. What? And my head is made of blueberry pizza. Wait a second. Is this whole book a trick? Can I stop reading, please? No. No? You know exactly what the book says. Oh my goodness. And now it's time for me to sing you my favorite song. A song? Do I really have to sing a... Glug, 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 my face is a bug. I eat ants for breakfast right off the rug. What? This book is ridiculous. Can I stop reading yet? No. There's more pages? I have to read the rest? My only friend in the whole wide world is a hippo named Boo Boo Butt. Boo Boo Butt? And also, the kids I'm reading this book to are the best kids ever in the history of the entire world. Ooh, really? And these are the smartest kids too, because these kids chose this book even though it had no pictures. Because kids know that this is the book that makes grown-ups have to say silly things and make silly sounds like, oh no, here it comes. Gracko, ma grumpfadoo, aye, 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 brrr, brrr, oomph, eemph, bliggity, blaggity, glibbity, globbity, globbity, glibbity, beep, boop, badungy face. Oh my goodness. Please don't ever make me read this book again. It is so silly. In fact, it is completely and utterly preposterous. Next time, please, 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 please choose a book with pictures, please. Because this is just too ridiculous to read. The end. Bonk. I didn't want to say that. Okay, Jude made me read the book. I read the book. Go have some fun downstairs, you guys, because that's what we're doing today. We're having some fun.
Go now in peace, may love guide all your ways. Beauty be the blessings of your nights and days. Truth on your lips and kindness in your deeds. Faith to follow where the human spirit leads.
All right, I don't know what I'm doing up here because Erin did such a good job of it in the opening words today. But today, I am asking you to invest in one of the hearts of our church home, our playground. All Souls Playground has been a source of joy and laughter and endless memories for many generations of families. Today, I am thrilled to announce a special initiative aimed at making our playground an even safer and more delightful haven for our little ones, who are the future of this community. To achieve this vision, we are seeking your generous support for essential improvements, including impact-absorbing surfacing, aka mulch, retaining walls, and just general maintenance down there. We aim to replace the existing substrate with rubber mulch that will ensure every playful step, skip, and hop our children take is met with a cushioning layer of protection. This upgrade will significantly reduce the risk of injuries and provide parents with the peace of mind while their little adventurers explore the playground. Due to the deterioration of the current mulch over the years, that layer is currently insufficient to provide us a safe play space. To create a sturdy and well-maintained environment, we plan to replace failing retaining walls. These low barriers will help prevent the erosion of the new mulch, ensuring the longevity and stability of our outdoor play space. And finally, regular maintenance is key to preserving the magic of our playground. Your contributions will go towards repairing and revitalizing existing structures, keeping them safe and enjoyable for years to come. Our playground is more than just a collection of ladders and slides and physical challenges. It's a space where friendships are formed, imaginations are unleashed, little gardeners flourish, and the spirit of our All Souls community thrives. By investing in our playground, you're investing in the well-being of our youth and the future of this community. Children are the heartbeat of our church, and their safety is our #1 priority. Your support will send a powerful message to our younger families, assuring them that we care deeply about the well-being of their children. Let's come together as a community to create a space where every child feels not only welcome, but also protected. Today, I invite you to make a donation towards our Playground Improvement Fund. No contribution is too small, and every dollar brings us closer to our goal. That said, $14,000 is a very big goal, so if you're able to give in a big way, today is the perfect time to do it. Please donate using the QR code on your bulletin. Also, I thought it was on the screen, but it's not. And, or you can drop it in the plates that will be coming around. And with heartfelt appreciation, the offering will now be gratefully received. Please join me in the dedication of the offering. We dedicate our offerings and our actions to the mission at the heart of this congregation, to build a respectful, caring community, to inspire personal and spiritual growth, and to create change toward a just and compassionate society.
From the Washington Post, May 20th, 2017. Why It's Good for Grown-Ups to Go Play, by Jennifer Wallace. You wonder why I was chosen for this reading? When it comes to play, not all adults play alike. In a study published in the journal Personality and Individual Differences in April 2017, researchers examined the complexities of adult playfulness to tease out patterns of behavior. 4 types of playful adults were identified. First type, outwardly enjoys fooling around with friends, colleagues, relatives, and acquaintances. Second type, generally lighthearted, not preoccupied by any future consequences of their behavior. Third type, more given to play with thoughts and ideas. And the last type, whimsical, exhibiting interest in strange or unusual things, amused by small, everyday observations. Lead researcher Renee Proyer, a psychology professor at Martin Luther University Halle-Wittenberg in Germany, says that by showing how varied playfulness can be, he hopes people will be encouraged to engage more playfully with others. A less playful person can learn to be more playful, much like an introvert can learn to be a better speaker by observing techniques extroverts use, Proyer says. Psychiatrist Stuart Brown, founder of the National Institute for Play, stresses that play is a basic human need as essential to our well-being as sleep. When we're low on play, our minds and bodies take notice. And over time, he says, play deprivation can reveal itself in certain patterns of behavior. We might get cranky, rigid, stuck in a rut, or feel victimized by life. So to get the most benefit from play's rejuvenating effects, Brown advises incorporating it into your life every day, instead of just waiting for that 2-week vacation every year. To identify the kind of play that will be most meaningful to you, Brown suggests thinking back to the play you enjoyed as a child. Then, see if you can connect that kind of play into your life now. For example, if you were very active as a child, you might try playing recreational sports. Play has the power to deeply enrich your adult life if you pay attention to it, Brown says.
My contention, my personal opinion, this is my basic metaphysical axiom, shall we put it that way, that existence, the physical universe, is basically playful. There is no necessity for it whatsoever. It isn't going anywhere. That is to say, it doesn't have some destination that it ought to arrive at. So then, in music, though, one doesn't make the end of a composition the point of the composition. If that were so, the best conductors would be those who played fastest. And there would be composers who wrote only finales. People go to a concert just to hear one crashing chord, because that's the end. Same way in dancing. You don't aim at a particular spot in the room. That's where you should arrive. The whole point of the dancing is the dance. Now, but we don't see that as something brought by our education into our everyday conduct. We've got a system of schooling which gives a completely different impression. It's all graded. And what we do is we put the child into the corridor of this grade system with a kind of, come on, kitty, kitty, kitty. And yeah, you go to kindergarten, you know, and that's a great thing because when you finish that, you'll get into first grade. And then come on, first grade leads to second grade and so on, and then you get out of grade school, you go to high school, and it's revving up, the thing is coming. Then you're going to go to college, and by Jove, then you get into graduate school, and when you're through with graduate school, you go out to join the world. And then you get into some racket where you're selling insurance, and they've got that quota to make, and you're going to make that. And all the time, this thing is coming. It's coming, that great thing, the success you're working for. Then when you wake up one day about 40 years old, you say, my God, I've arrived. I'm there. And you don't feel very different from what you always felt. And there's a slight letdown because you feel there's a hoax. And there was a hoax, a dreadful hoax. They made you miss everything by expectation. Look at the people who live to retire and put those savings away. And then when they're 65, they don't have any energy left, they're more or less impotent, and they go and rot in an old people's senior citizens community. Because we've simply cheated ourselves the whole way down the line. We thought of life by analogy with a journey, with a pilgrimage, which had a serious purpose at the end, and the thing was to get to that end. Success or whatever it is, or maybe heaven after you're dead. But we missed the point the whole way along. It was a musical thing, and you were supposed to sing or to dance while the music was being played.
First, I saw you dancing. Good job. I mean, I was this close to getting up and grabbing my spouse and making him waltz with me. But I didn't. Anyway, we'll get to that later. I am remembering when I was so small. Of course, I grew up in Rockford, Illinois, which is a little bit further north than this, but not as far as north as Minneapolis, where I lived for 12 years. But I remember making snow angels, laying down in the snow, feeling the cold and the wet and the softness of it, and moving my limbs, and just being free in that moment of flying in the snow. And there was a day that I distinctly remember, and my father liked to tell this story. I was little, and he grabbed me suddenly and threw me into a snowbank. And my face got really big, and I was starting to scream. And then I realized I was okay because it was a snowbank. And then it turned into giggles. So I want to invite you to think about when you were this big or this big. How did you used to play? Did you like to run around? Did you roughhouse with your friends and your siblings? Did you play around with dolls and figurines? Do you play make-believe? What about that thing that you did most to play as a child? What made you love it so much? Was it just being favorite activities? Or was there something special? How did that feel to be playing? And I'm going to give you like a solid 15 seconds to think about this. So I apologize for the dead air. How did it feel to play when you were little? We know that children play. Dr. Stuart Brown, who was quoted in our first reading, he's a psychiatrist. He started this National Institute on Play. He has written books on play. He is the guy. You look up play and it's like Stuart Brown, Stuart Brown, Stuart Brown. On Being, TED Talks, he's the guy. And he says that babies play from the moment they can read facial expressions. When you think about it, babies starting to be able to see and experience facial expressions. And his mom or parent will take its hands and make a big smile. And then the baby smiles back. That's play. From that earliest moment, resonating in joy and fun. And of course, play is teaching children social skills, how to use their bodies. And it feels good. If you're having fun, it feels good. And interestingly, there's a connection that's been found between children who play and use their hands and imaginations with being good problem solvers as adults. Supposedly, there are some engineering schools that want to know about how you played and what things you did with your hands. Because if you did that young, you're going to be much better at engineering and problem solving as an adult. And it's about exploration and exploring and learning the world by touching it and feeling it and playing with it with that sense of curiosity. Now, interestingly, there's also a connection between children who were not allowed to play and the inability to feel empathy. And Dr. Brown, he's the one who discovered this while he was working with inmates who had been convicted of murder. A significant number of them had been denied play as a child. So I want to ask you, when did you stop playing? Because as adults, we don't play much. And this not playing much as adults is actually a relatively recent development in humans. Because there's evidence that adults played a lot more in previous centuries. If I'd put together a slide, I would be able to show you a 15th century painting of a European courtyard that shows everybody playing, 124 people playing. And they're all ages. And they're doing all sorts of different kinds of play, from games to physical things to, just all kinds of play. So our culture has clearly changed in many ways. And I'm just going to speculate that part of that change came with the Reformation. As we started to become more reading focused because of the printing press and the creation of these strict religious groups, I don't know, the Puritans, taught us that we had to be productive and our behavior had to be within very strict limits. And then you follow that through to capitalism and the Industrial Revolution, and everything is about productivity. Every last thing, to the point that all of us have been taught that our worth is tied up with our productivity. You don't have worth unless you are doing something, and ideally doing something that makes money. And that shapes our entire society. To the point of you meet someone and you ask, oh, what do you do for a living? And you expect that there's going to be an answer. People don't say, oh, I play. So we're finding that there's something about having to be responsible for things that tends to limit play. Apparently, domestic dogs will play throughout their lifetimes. Puppies play like puppies, and adult dogs, you still throw that ball, and they're after it. You give them something to tug on, they're right there with you in that spirit of play. But wolves have to take on responsibility for the pack. And they don't play as much as domestic dogs. They just don't. So with this stopping playing at adulthood, I'm asking myself, is this really a problem? This is what wolves do. But there's evidence that play brings about a different good nervous system state. I'm going to go into the weeds of one of my favorite things, polyvagal theory. People who look at trauma a lot are all about polyvagal theory. That is the theory that you've heard of this, different physical nervous system states, safe and social, fight, flight, I know you've heard of that, and freeze. So when you're feeling just safe and fine and everything's okay, your body lets go a little bit. Your blood pressure's nice and reasonable. You don't have all the adrenaline in your system. And you are able to feel safe. And in that safeness, you can be social comfortably. When you're feeling safe, it's easy to be talking with people. But when you go up what somebody calls the vasovagal ladder, polyvagal ladder, there's fight-flight. And that's when something makes you feel that there's a threat. And your body activates. Your blood vessels dilate. And your heart beats faster. You have that adrenaline in your system. And this is your whole nervous system responding to a perceived threat. And that is what we call the fight-flight response, that your body activates to flee or to fight back. And that's literally in our nervous system. And then the top rung is what's called freeze. And that's the point at which the body literally shuts down. It is at a point of fear or pain that is so intense that the body assumes it's not going to survive. And so it shuts down. And that's what we call freeze. Play, though, play is something a little bit different, but some people say it is its own nervous system response because it is both safe and social and activated body. So it's got a little bit of that flight, but it's also safe and social. So it's actually this separate category of play where you know that what you're doing physically is perfectly safe and people aren't going to attack you. And you can have fun because you're still in safe and social, but activated. So when you're thinking about what does play feel like, notice this for yourself. And the benefits of play, as we heard from Jennifer Wallace reading this morning, our bodies need play like they need sleep. You can feel when you haven't played enough. You get cranky, rigid, stuck in a rut, victimized by life. And Stuart Brown said something very similar to, the opposite of play is depression. Because play feels good. It's rejuvenating. Like having a good laugh. Like, did you laugh when I was reading that book to the kids? How did your body feel while you were laughing? How did your body feel after you were laughing? Did you think, oh, I needed that laugh? So, what is play? It is a pleasurable and apparently purposeless activity. So things that are pleasurable and apparently purposeless. That's a lot of activities. And I'm not going to put taxes in that, because it's not pleasurable, but we can, wonder about the purpose of filing tax returns. So there are just lots of activities that are about sensations. Oh my goodness, all of the things that we do for sensations, like playing on swings and climbing stuff and feeling our bodies in space at the beginning of the service when I had to spin around and all that great stuff. That's exploring our bodies in space. And there are the activities that are imaginative. That's the playing make-believe. Wondering what could be possible without any limits. And play can be social things that have no meaning or agenda. That can be playing games together, that can be roughhousing, that can be throwing our bodies into leaves as a group. I didn't get to do that this year, it makes me sad. But I do wonder about some things that I like to think of a play, but maybe have a purpose, like playing music. I mean, it has a purpose, that it's creation, and it's enjoyable for others as well, but it is also a form of play. Same thing with hobbies of making things. Like I counted cross stitch again. I'm making something. And it's still play. So that purpose thing I kind of have some feelings about. I will note, reading novels count as play. Imagination and otherwise purposeless, right? So then I'm going to wonder, as I look at myself, how is it Did I forget how to play? Because when I was growing up, my absolute favorite thing was playing make-believe with my little dolls and my Legos. Build houses out of Legos and put the little dolls in the houses and make up stories. And pieces of it would end up all over my bedroom floor. And they were Legos, but we survived. And watching Mr. Rogers, I loved Mr. Rogers more than anything. The neighborhood of make-believe was just like the place of my heart. And I have to say how joyful it was when I was in Pittsburgh that I visited the museum that has memorabilia from the show. So I have seen the castle. I have seen the puppets. I have seen Henrietta Owl's tree. Got close to it, took a picture with it. Anyway, sorry, I love Mr. Rogers so much. But the making up of stories about relationships and things that go right and things that go wrong, that's where we are in that. And I get worried about, did I forget how to do this? Because we have 3 nephews. One of them's now 16, the other one's 13, and the baby Matthew, turns 2 today. Happy birthday, baby Matthew. Is that when I play with them, I feel like I can't make up stories anymore. Like there are stories happening, and I'm like, I'm not following it. I don't know. You know, my father-in-law is so good at making up stories with the kids. I'm like, I don't have that skill anymore. And so that makes me wonder, can I practice this lost skill? I'm taking up playing cello again. I kind of stopped for the last 5 or 6 years because, I don't know, ministry takes up time or something. And so I'm trying to take that up again. And it's hard to pick up something that I haven't done in a while. But it's also far from impossible because my body holds it. So I'm like having this hope that I can get my imagination back if I just practice and engage it. Because I think that imagination is key. It's the basis of what is possible when nothing else matters. We can exist outside of time and space and even reality, but we forget to do it. We forget to imagine everything possible. And I think that practicing it, we need to re-engage our curiosity. I was raised that I had to have the answer, and I still feel like I have to have the answer. I don't know if you've had that experience. That I forget to ask the questions. That I forget to wonder and explore. And then there's that sense of abandonment, just letting yourself go. Now, of course, I said that play is a combination of safe and social and fight-flight. And that means that play has to feel safe. Susanna Crossman writes, many thinkers and philosophers who write about play seem to ignore that a leap in the dark requires trust. One must feel secure to play. Without confidence, there's no flow, no dawning. Before practical sessions begin with adult or adolescence groups, we write charters on paperboards and invent our play conditions. We debate various ideas, the use of mobile phones, being on time, respect, participation, confidentiality. When we play with adults, there is a great and justified fear of being infantilized, laughed at, and somehow deceived. For group play to function, everyone must feel safe to play. So I wonder, is our resistance to play, or getting out of the habit of play, because we don't feel safe? Adulthood has taught us to not risk, to avoid acting out of abandonment. We don't feel that it is safe to express unadulterated joy and to engage in play. It opens us up to ridicule. So we have to find that safety. We have to find a safe way to play. And maybe the safest way to play is alone in your house, because that is a safe place. But I also want to encourage us to develop relationships in which play is possible. to form levels of trust and safety with others. That you can be silly and not worry that someone's going to lash out at you for it. So that we can run wild with abandon. We can revel in joy. And we can let go of having it matter. We can just do.